Welcome to Hanbis Naturals. Today I'll guide you step by step through herb garden basics, which herbs to choose, how to place and space them, how to build and care for soil that helps them thrive, and all the practical details you need to run a healthy, productive herb garden, whether it's a balcony, a small yard, or a sunny windowsill. Start by choosing herbs you will actually use. Think cooking, skincare, and gentle home remedies. Beginner-friendly, high-value herbs include basil, fast, sun-loving, great for sauces and infused oils; mint, vigorous, keep in pots; rosemary, woody, drought-tolerant, aromatic; thyme, compact, hardy; oregano, sage, parsley, chives; lavender, calming scent, great dried; calendula, beautiful for salves; chamomile, gentle, anti-inflammatory; lemon balm, lemon verbena, dill, and coriander cilantro. Pick a mix of culinary herbs and a few medicinal skincare herbs like lavender and calendula so your garden serves many uses. Match plants to your space and your life. If you have a tiny area, choose compact herbs. Chives, thyme, and oregano take less room and are forgiving. If you have more space, add rosemary, lemon verbena, or a small bay laurel. Always include at least one plant that is well suited to your local climate, a native or adapted herb that reduces water needs and maintenance. Containers versus in-ground. Decide early. Containers are perfect for balconies and control invasive growers. I'm looking at you, mint. Raised beds and in-ground beds work well when you want larger plants and less frequent watering. For containers, choose appropriate sizes. Compact herbs do well in 6 to 8-inch pots. Basil and oregano prefer 10 to 12-inch pots. Large or woody herbs like rosemary do best in 12 to 18-inch pots with deeper root space. Aim for at least 8 to 12 inches of soil depth for most herbs. Spacing and placement give plants room to breathe. Overcrowding increases disease and reduces harvests. A simple set of spacing rules works well for planning. Chives and thyme about 6 to 8 inches apart, basil 8 to 12 inches apart, parsley 8 to 10 inches, oregano 8 to 12 inches, rosemary 18 to 24 inches. If you're planting in pots, use one vigorous herb per pot for spreaders, mint, rosemary, and group compact herbs in a single larger pot if you like. Always group plants by similar water and light needs. This makes watering and care straightforward. Sun and microclimates. Most culinary herbs prefer full sun, about 6 or more hours of direct light daily. Mediterranean herbs like rosemary, thyme, and oregano love very sunny, well-drained spots. Herbs such as mint, parsley, and cilantro tolerate partial shade or filtered light. Pay attention to microclimates. A south-facing balcony, a spot near a reflective wall, or a window with morning sun can be much warmer and sunnier than other spots. Use those microclimates to your advantage. Put your sun-loving herbs where they'll get the best light and shade lovers in gentler spots. Soil is the heart of success. Herbs generally prefer a light, well-draining soil with moderate fertility. For containers, an easy, reliable mix is 50% good quality potting soil, 30% coarse perlite or pumice for drainage, and 20% coconut coir or well-aged compost for moisture and nutrients. Mix gently so you preserve air spaces. Roots need oxygen. For raised beds or in-ground gardens, improve native soil by working in 2 to 3 inches of mature compost. If your soil is heavy clay, add coarse sand and organic matter to loosen it. Avoid using garden soil straight in pots. It compacts and drains poorly. pH and nutrients. Most herbs like slightly acidic to neutral soil, roughly pH 6.0 to 7.0. A simple home soil test kit will tell you where you stand. In most home gardens, regular additions of compost and a balanced organic feed, liquid seaweed fish emulsion or compost tea during the growing season are enough. Herbs don't need heavy feeding to keep their flavor and aroma rich. Overfeeding can lead to lush but weak plants and poor oil concentration in aromatic herbs, so err on the lighter side. Watering. Understand water needs rather than following a strict schedule. Water deeply and infrequently, soak the root zone, and then allow the top 1 to 2 inches of soil to dry for Mediterranean herbs, rosemary, thyme. In small pots, soil dries faster. Check by feeling the topsoil with your finger. When the topsoil is dry, water until you see runoff from the pot's drainage hole. For larger pots and beds, less frequent. Deeper waterings encourage strong roots. Avoid waterlogged soil. Root rot is the most common fatal error in herb gardening. Containers and drainage. Always use pots with drainage holes. Terracotta pots breathe and reduce overwatering risk, but they dry faster. Plastic pots retain moisture longer and are lighter. Consider sources to catch runoff, and for hot, sunny spots you can use self-watering planters if you travel often. If you're using trays or saucers, empty collected water occasionally to prevent pests and salt buildup. Propagation, seeds versus cuttings. Many herbs are easy to grow from seed, basil, cilantro, dill, while others root well from cuttings, rosemary, mint, lavender. For seeds, use a sterile seed starting mix, so at the depth recommended on the packet, a good rule. So most small seeds at roughly twice their diameter, keep them warm and covered until they sprout, and give them light as soon as true leaves form. Harden seedlings off gradually over a week before moving them outdoors. This means increasing outdoor exposure little by little each day. For cuttings, take a healthy 3 to 4 inch softwood cutting, remove lower leaves, dip in rooting hormone if you like, plant in moist perlite or a light potting mix, and keep humidity high until roots form. Mint and lavender root easily. Rosemary can be a bit slower but is rewarding. Pruning, harvesting, and maintaining productivity. Harvest herbs regularly to encourage bushy growth. Pinch basil tips regularly to prevent early flowering and to encourage more leaf production. For woody herbs like rosemary and sage, prune lightly after flowering to keep shape. Avoid removing more than 1/3 of a plant at once. Steady, small harvests are less stressful. Harvest leaves in the morning after dew dries when oils are most concentrated for flavor and aroma. Drying and storing herbs. For culinary use, dry tender herbs like oregano, thyme, and rosemary by hanging small bunches upside down in a warm, dry, well-ventilated spot out of direct sunlight. For delicate herbs like basil, quick drying in a dehydrator or turning into pesto often preserves flavor better than air drying. Once dry, store herbs in airtight dark glass jars away from heat and light. Label with the date and aim to use within 6 to 12 months for best flavor. Pests and disease, prevention and gentle controls. Avoid the temptation to reach for harsh chemicals. Good cultural practices prevent most problems. Proper spacing, good airflow, not overwatering, and healthy soil. Common pests include aphids, spider mites, and whiteflies. A gentle soap spray, mix a small amount of mild dish soap in water and test, can control aphids. Neem oil is effective but use cautiously and avoid spraying lavender and other aromatic herbs in hot sun. Encourage beneficial insects, ladybugs, lacewings, by planting varied flowering herbs and nearby pollinator plants. For fungal issues like powdery mildew and root rot, increase airflow, reduce humidity around the plants, and correct overwatering. If a plant is seriously diseased, remove it promptly and compost or dispose of it away from your healthy garden. Companion planting and rotation. Companion planting can be helpful. Basil and tomatoes are classic companions. Basil can improve tomato flavor and deter some pests. Chives deter some insects and protect brassicas. Marigolds can reduce root nematodes in some soils. Avoid planting mint in open beds. Keep mint contained in pots. Rotate plants in larger beds each season. Don't grow the same family in the same spot year after year to reduce soil-borne disease risk. Seasonal care and overwintering. In spring, refresh pots with some fresh compost. Divide overcrowded clumps, mint, chives, and repot if roots have filled the container. In summer, pinch flowers if you want more leaf growth. Let some plants flower if you want seeds or to attract pollinators. In fall, prepare woody herbs by cutting back lightly and applying a thin mulch to protect roots. In cold climates, move potted herbs indoors to a bright window or a cool, frost-free spot. For tropical or warm climates, winter care may be minimal. Still, protect tender seedlings from heavy rains or unusual cold snaps. Making simple herbal preparations, safety first. A common garden use is making infused oils and simple teas. For infused oils, use dried herb, damp plant tissue invites spoilage, gently covered in a carrier oil and warmed slowly in a water bath or left in sunlight for several weeks, then strained. For teas and compresses, use fresh or dried herb, But always be cautious if advising ingestion or topical use. Check for allergies, only use herbs you know and trust, and when in doubt, consult a qualified herbalist or medical professional. Always do a patch test before applying any new topical preparation to larger skin areas. Practical small space solutions. If you're short on room, use vertical planters, hanging pots, wall pockets, or stackable pots. Window boxes are great for culinary herbs, ensure at least 6 to 8 inches of soil depth the most. If natural light is limited, a small LED grow light with a timer can supplement light for 4 to 6 hours and make a real difference. Record keeping and notes. Keep a small garden notebook. Note where you planted things, spacing, how often you watered, and which soil mix you used. Record successes and failures. Over time, these notes become your best localized gardening guide, tailored to your microclimate and routine. Sustainability tips. Reuse and repair where possible. Make your own compost for soil fertility, capture rainwater if you can, and choose reusable labels and clay or ceramic pots rather than single-use plastics. Use organic seeds and cuttings from trusted sources, and share extras with neighbors. Gardening builds community. Final practical checklist to start today. Pick 3 herbs you will actually use. Choose appropriate pots or a small raised bed. Assemble your potting mix: 50% potting soil, 30% perlite pumice, 20% coir compost. Ensure pots have drainage holes. Place your sun-loving herbs where they get 6 hours of light and shade-tolerant herbs in gentler spots. Water by feel, not by calendar. Label your plants, harvest regularly but gently, and record notes. If you found this guide helpful, please tell me in the comments which 3 herbs you'll start with, and subscribe to Hanbis Naturals. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next video in this series. Thanks for watching.